This episode is brought to you by thedolphinwars.com.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to King Dolphin TV, episode 371. I am King Dolphin. I am Raymond. I am the author of the Dolphin Wars trilogy of books. And tonight we have a very exciting interview with two outstanding Civil Air Patrol members. They have graciously offered to do this interview. I wanted to do one on the Civil Air Patrol's birthday on December 1st, but it never seems to work out that way. So I decided to Shanghai him and say, come on, tell us about Civil Air Patrol. There are people who just love to hear the story. And before we get started, before I introduce them, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please share the video. And also, if you are so inclined, please consider giving us a super chat and or going to the tip stream. This helps out a lot to keep the lights on in the channel here. FKHC said, don't make Snorty and try to come after you for your money, given super chats, super stickers, or the tip link. And we will put the tip link out there. So, and we shall, okay, there's the tip. Well, it's coming up. We will introduce the people who are out here in the chat. And I do recognize every one of you. So, because you are a part of the family. And we'll start with our guest. We have Swift -1. Hello, my friend. How are you? Welcome to the show. We've got our awesome lifeguard corps here to keep everything safe. We've got Agent Pepsi 1. Hello, Agent Pepsi 1. How you doing? We have the amazing FKHC 2005. And we've got the fantastic Legatus Legionai. And finally, the hardest working bear on the internet, Snortopupus Cubar. So welcome, everybody. And without further ado, I will introduce our two Civil Air Patrol members. We have Major Dirk Stanberry. How are you doing, sir? And welcome.
Doing fine. Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome. And then we have Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Emma Black. How are you doing, ma'am?
Thanks for having me on.
Okay. And we talked in the back room how we do things. So without further ado, we will get started, and that way we can give you guys time for doing your questions. So please think of questions, put them out there. I will even interrupt I'll interrupt my questions to bring your questions. We're going to do it a little differently this time. So let us get started. Major Stansberry, tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you interested in CAP? Some of your background outside of Civil Air Patrol.
I've got a BA in education. I taught school for 8 years actually.
Okay.
I went back to school for a BSCE, and I've been a civil engineer ever since. I've been in the Shenandoah Potomac Valley since 1987, and have been both in the private and in the government sector as an engineer.
Okay.
I first was introduced to Civil Air Patrol actually in Morgantown, Clarksburg area in 1974. And it intrigued me then, but I did not have connections with it until I got to Martinsburg, where I encouraged my son to join. So we both got in at that time. So I've been in since, coming up on 20 years.
Okay. All right. So you're one who got your son to get it was a family affair.
Yes.
And that seems to be how most of the CAP trip starts off with. They start the family, then see the program is great, and go on with it.
Well, with my background as a science teacher and engineering, aerospace education was a natural fit. So I was able to slip into that position, and it's rewarding. It's some of the finest young men and women I've ever had a pleasure of dealing with.
All right.
And it shows their dedication.
Okay. Colonel Black, tell us a bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from Maryland, actually, and I moved to West Virginia not too long ago. I'm the cadet commander of my squadron for Civil Air Patrol, and I got interested in the program probably a couple years back. I've been in and around for about 3 years now. I used to want to be an astronaut. I wanted to go into like aerospace, and I was introduced to it by my family, and they said it was very aerospace focused, so that's why I joined.
Okay, great. And okay. Now, I will split this up with about the cadet program as opposed to the overall. Major Black, what for those who may not be familiar with it, which is pretty most everybody here, can you tell us what CAP is?
So CAP is an auxiliary of the United States Air Force. We have 3 missions: cadet programs, aerospace education, and emergency services. We support the Air Force's mission as well as our own separate ones, including those 3 I just told you about. Emergency services, we help provide services to local communities, like if we were to have a natural disaster such as flooding, which we've been having a problem with. CAP cadets and senior members would be able to assist those communities in the flooding. Aerospace education. We offer opportunities for flying for our cadets so they can actually actively work on and get their pilot's license while in CAP. And then third is our cadet programs, which helps develop leadership skills within the program.
Okay. Major Stansberry, how long has Civil Air Patrol been around, and what can you give me a little bit of the history of Civil Air Patrol?
Well, prior to World War II, there were individual pilots who saw a necessity to get involved in civil defense. And that evolved over the decades leading up to World War II, and we were actually chartered just 6 days before Pearl Harbor was bombed. And we immediately had a mission as part of that civil defense, particularly with German submarines and Japanese submarines coming into our coastal waters. So we started to run or fly out across the coast looking for these predators. And if we didn't get there before the predator got to a ship, we assisted in recovery and getting the Navy out to rescue those who survived their attacks. I can't think of any other non-military organization that damaged 10 and sunk 2 submarines with our little puddle jumpers.
True.
On the cadet side, by the end of the war, there were more cadets coming out with flight time out of high school than the Navy and the Army Air Corps had planes to put them in. So we were providing pilots when our adversaries were running out of pilots. This mission grew, of course, when the Air Force became its independence unit. We naturally fit in with them, and we still kept our civil defense. And as Colonel Black pointed out, we're there for emergencies. And we usually, fortunately, we have between 200 and 300 rescues a year across the country. Unfortunately, we have some that are more of a recovery than a rescue. And it makes more sense for us to fly Cessnas and similar aircraft than it would be for the Air Force to run C-130s or something like that on search and rescue missions. So it fits well with them. And again, as she pointed out, even here in West Virginia, just a couple of years ago when we had the severe flooding in the southern part of the state, our planes were in the air, guiding ground groups, first responders, not to go down this road because the bridge is out, or there's trees here. It would be better to go this route. So we could get assisted in getting to emergency needed areas quicker with our planes in the air. And of course, we also had ground pounders who were also assisting in that respect. And this has been our mission since World War II. We've had anytime the Air Force or even the Navy or someone needs assistance, we jump right in. We have a program where we escort nuclear submarines out of busy harbors. Submarines are prone to getting rammed. So by putting eyes in the sky, they can see if there's a cargo ship or other ship near one of our subs. We also have a program where we try to sneak into restricted flight areas and even have come in from Canada trying to get across the border and testing our ability to intercept these intrusions. Been very helpful in that area. We've had oxymoron manned drones training our forces to fly drones in municipal areas, because we're not supposed to be flying, particularly rookies, flying drones over populated areas. Mm-hmm. So we would man a Cessna that was equipped to fly like a drone. So you had a co-pilot human with a robot, or not a robot, but a drone piloted pilot. So these are our missions. And just pretty much what gets requested by those areas. If the governor needs something, he can request it. We're not truly first responders because we need to get our orders through the Air Force. So it does have to bounce around a little bit, but we will be there when we are needed.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Now, okay, I'm going to backtrack to you again, Major. What is your particular position at your CAP unit?
I am the aerospace education officer, primarily dealing with cadets, but aerospace is across both sides. And it is pretty much science-based, physics, astronomy, and aeronautical history that is brought to both cadets and to seniors. Admittedly, we need to beef up a little bit more with our senior side on that. We use this program to get to uh, visit sites. Again, whenever we have the opportunity, we had a STEM group had an opportunity to go down to Washington, D.C. and get into the naval program where they presented STEM to students. And this is a type of exposure we try to get them. We do have a good contingent of homeschoolers, and we pride ourselves on getting some science into their background and some more social contact and some leadership development by the cadets. So we don't stop at borders and say this is aerospace, this is leadership. We see this is development, character development, and PT. They all interact, and so that's a little bit beyond your question, but yeah.
No, that's fine. That's fine. All right, Cadet Black. Let's see. Tell us a bit, or tell us about the CAP cadet program, and what you like about it.
Mm. So the CAP cadet program, like I said before, has a large focus on our leadership aspects. It helps develop character development within our cadets, teaches them to work with teams, and then prepares them also for the future so that they can be serving America. My favorite thing about the cadet program probably has to be the teamwork aspect. I've never had to, work together with others on such a level as I have before when in CAP, where you have to have that professionalism coming in when it comes to teamwork. You have to be able to strategize, and you have to be able to have good synergy with the people around you. And through that teamwork, I think I've gained so many lifelong friendships, and, knowing that many people, especially within CAP, who are going to have your back, who are always going to be there to support you and bring you up and honestly just develop you as a whole. It's amazing. And it's probably honestly my favorite part about CAP in general.
Okay. What all are your outside of, I guess you meet at a squadron, you go through, you go to your meetings. Your meetings are pretty structured every week. You meet every week, right? Okay. So your meetings are structured every week, but I'm sure that you don't necessarily spend all your time at the squadron just doing meetings. What do you do outside of the squadron for CAP?
So currently within our wing in CAP, we have the encampment coming up. We have for our wing, our state. I'm currently going to be the cadet commander for that activity. So right now I'm working and coordinating with my staff on preparing, I think, about 73, 74 cadets for the encampment, which is essentially like almost a week-long, more toned down type boot camp compared to Air Force, like way toned down. And a lot of the things we do there are so cool. So encampment offers Black Hawk helicopter rides. We get to go in C-130s, which is a type of like smaller cargo plane. We get to do a rappel tower, the shooting range. It's just a week long of activities packed for the cadets. Currently, I'm working on a kind of outside CAP activity for the cadets within our squadron, which we can do. And I was thinking about talking to Major Stansbury about it actually, and see if we can go somewhere aerospace related. I remember about, I think a year or two back, we went to it was an aerospace museum in Virginia, and we got to see old reconstructions of planes from World War II, Vietnam, Korea, just in general and see how much they've developed over time.
Yeah, that was Zubar Hayden.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we've even got a museum that is in our plans nearby, which is in Hagerstown. A lot of people don't realize the Fairchild factory actually built quite a few aircraft, and even the Warthog, the A-10, was built in here, and so there's quite a few history close by to this area, and those are on our docket. We're trying to get those up. I do. This is one of the daunting things of the program particularly when you have a lot of volunteers. You do need some additional help to keep all of these activities going. But I want to also compliment the Colonel on her development, and this is an important part of CAPS cadets, is the leadership part of this, that we give responsibility, and they have to build this. They don't earn things just by being here. Mm-hmm. They cannot be an empty suit. They actually have to develop and do things to get their grade and move forward and get their promotions. So it was a pleasure to see this young lady become a strong woman.
Yeah,
Yes.
I used to be very shy within the program when I first came. Oh my gosh, I was so quiet. And then through CAP, I had to get out of my comfort zone. So there were moments when I was very, very uncomfortable, but in a good way, of course, that kind of just threw me forward to, not only opportunity, but the chance to, like, once again, have those lifelong friends, get to do really fun activities that I would have never imagined I would be able to ever have the opportunity to do.
Okay.
I may add that the encampment, you are not restricted to West Virginia's encampment. No. In fact, our encampment is loaded with people from Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, even as far away as Alabama's been there. And we have the same opportunity. Our cadets can go to any encampment in the country that the other states are having. And we've had some attend various programs in Florida as well. And there's even an international exchange program for the cadets that a few have gotten opportunity to get involved in. We've had some cadets of ours have actually been to Germany and England. We even had one of our commanders was an escort to Canada with their exchange program. So you're not, it's a national program, and it builds up friends and connections across the entire continent.
Great. So, and is encampments the only cadet activities that you can do? Can you do other major cadet activities other than encampments?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have activities in and out of CAP. I mean, all the time, both within our wing and other states as well. We have aerospace stuff such as stargazing. There's if we have, I think, like a meteor shower or something, that they'll set up an event right there and then to go ahead and view that meteor shower or go stargazing. I know we have a cybersecurity program as well. That's something that a lot of cadets are interested in. And then, of course, we can't forget our drill program, where a large number of cadets participate in drilling. I mean, everyone knows drill, marching, stuff like that. And we have color guards, just like the other military branches do, that the cadets enjoy immensely.
Okay.
I think, King Dolphin, you were looking for some of the more schools that are offered throughout the year, such as there are securities, even mountain rescue, Red Horse, the Air Force's engineering. There are quite a few schools, including flight school for the cadets that they can get into. Most often, these are through summer when they're most available so it's not conflicting with school. So above and beyond the encampments across the nation, there are many schools that they have an opportunity to go through.
Okay, great. So it sounds like a very diverse and very exciting program outside of the necessary emergency services, disaster relief missions like that. That actually brings me to either of you can answer this. What can cadets do in emergency services?
Do you want to answer that, sir, or do you want me to?
You broke up there. What was?
Do
Oh,
you want
okay.
Emma?
Sorry.
Do you want Colonel Black to answer, or do you want to answer? What can cadets?
She can answer this.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm the emergency services officer within my squadron. Civil Air Patrol, I mean, for emergency services as one of our programs, it is not limited to either cadets or senior adult members within CAP. The standard in emergency services is the same for both cadets and senior members. When we're out there in a community assisting individuals, whether we need to provide food and shelter, whether we need a watermark, or for another instance, we have an aircraft go down suddenly in the middle of the mountains, we could get that call at any moment, and we can go out there and we can go and search for that fallen aircraft. We have actually saved dozens of lives each year just through our services. Cadets, and they're part of the searches. Once again, there is no difference and no restriction between seniors or cadets in emergency services. So anybody gets the opportunity to go out there and potentially save a life.
Okay.
With the training.
With the training.
Yeah.
Cadets go out there in the woods.
You can't go out there with like no information and
you
just
must progress through that as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, you gotta have the training. You can't just like go in there knowing nothing and then expect to like save someone within a day's work. It does take a lot of hard work, dedication, and training to participate in emergency services and search and rescue. But the reward is so high, and the views are stunning.
Okay.
In fact, there are SARACs, which are search and rescue exercises to help train both the aircraft observations as well as the ground team in there. Basic life support is trained. Don't grab leaves with 3 leaves and stay away from the snakes and things like that. So there's quite a bit of training that goes along with this. So it's not, again, that is an important part and has led to some of our cadets looking at emergency services, being first responders from that as well.
Okay. Now, if cadets have specific places they cannot be on, in say like a SAREX or a live mission, what restrictions do cadets have? Okay, let me rephrase that.
Yeah, rephrase that.
Can cadets go on aircraft on a SAREX?
I think you can, but there's an age limit. Like if you wanted to do aerial photography for emergency services,
Mm-hmm.
you can do that. You can go out on a mission and provide that, but I believe that's about it beyond your scope. Otherwise than that, you have to be a senior member to do so.
Okay, so you have a specific age requirement to be as an air crew.
To be an air crew during a search and rescue mission, yes, sir.
Okay. What about flying in general? You mentioned that cadets can get their pilot's license.
Yes, we offer so many schools and so many opportunities to teach cadets how to fly and to get their pilot's license within CAP. You can either get it for free or for super cheap prices compared to if you had gone for civilian aircraft training. A cadet can start training as young as 12 years old. And even if you aren't interested in pursuing a pilot's license, we have opportunities such as orientation flights where you can just simply go up in the pilot seat in the cockpit, and you can fly the controls for a bit. Obviously, with the trained pilot next to you, not alone. Trust me. But yeah, that opportunity. I've been up a few times myself. Personally, I think my dream to be an astronaut died right there and then because I realized I got sick very easily on small aircraft. But other cadets enjoy it a lot. So it's actually one of the primary reasons why a majority of cadets join CAP.
We also have access to a glider, and there are opportunities for the cadets to fly in the glider.
Okay. All right.
That same training does not apply to the seniors. We're supposed to have enough income to get our own pilot's license.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, we're not technically supposed to compete with the private sector. So if there's a pilot training school, we can't compete with them.
Okay. Okay. Are you a mission air crew, or what ES positions do you have, Major Stansberry?
I have actually allowed my ground team expertise lapse, mainly because I'm 71 years old. I haven't been keeping up with the mountain climbing part of it.
Okay.
But I was with the ground team 15 years ago.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I want to get to the chat, so I'm just going to ask each of you this same question. Okay. First off, what does a senior member and then a cadet have to do to join CAP? So we'll start with you first, Major.
Well, first is to make contact. It's very simple. You can get on and search Civil Air Patrol, and it'll get you to the national website. You can also specify that you're looking for a particular squadron in your area. And I would recommend you do that if you find one in the town or the city near you, to actually visit the site and then go and talk to them. What you will have to do is to first find out if you qualify. We are part of the Air Force, therefore we do have security and background checks on that. So you start that process through communications. You can get as much information you can online, but then I would recommend that you go find a nearby squadron and talk to them, and they will walk you through the process on what you need. And you don't have to have military background. You don't have to have a particular expertise, because just about every part of the economy is needed in there, from lawyers to accountants, logistics. So all of these things are important. We even have PT, so coaches are a desirable thing to be there. So we have an opportunity for anybody, if you just want to be involved with some good people and some good cadets.
Okay. And Colonel Black.
Yes.
What would you do? What does a cadet have to do to join?
So the first thing you want to do is you want to locate the nearest squadron to your town where you live. In this case, you can go to the website gocivilairpatrol.com, where you can look up the particular squadron, and there you should find it. once you do to go to that squadron, you're going to have 3 consecutive meetings, meaning you go to 3 meetings in a row at that squadron before you can join. Once you go to those 3 meetings and you have that interest, you'll fill out some paperwork, which once again, you can find on gocivilairpatrol.com. And then they'll give you your CAP ID, which is like your registration number for each Civil Air Patrol cadet that they receive, as well as senior members. And you also get your email and your teams, which we have like a designated communication between our organization, which we primarily use Teams and Outlook for that. And then once you have those set up, you can start to rank up within the cadet program and yeah.
Okay. How long does it take to get promoted in the cadet program?
Could you repeat that question, sir?
Yeah.
How long does it take to get each rank in the cadet program?
It takes 54 days. That's like the most it'll take. It's a lot quicker than the senior member ranks. I can tell you that. The senior members, I think they have like a year gap, if I'm correct, sir, before you can rank up. So the cadets program goes by pretty quickly, mainly because our age group is between 12 and 21. So we kind of need to, rank up quickly if we want to finish the program in time. We start with Cadet Airman Basic, and we go all the way up to Cadet Colonel. Currently, I'm a Lieutenant Colonel, so I have one more test to go before I've completed all ranks within the program.
And what is the highest award that you get as a Cadet Colonel?
So you get the Spots Award, and you should be presented that award by regional or national, if I'm correct. And it's very, very rare to get this award. It's extremely hard. I think there's a total of 3,000 cadets which has received the rank of Cadet Colonel and the Spots Award.
You're going to get it.
Usually it's about 0.5% of all cadets ever make it that far. Part of the problem is sometimes cadets don't get started early enough. So you do need some time to get involved in it, that you can get through the rank, because you do have some time in grade, and you do have to comply with all the requirements to get to that next step. But it is very difficult. It's both physically as well as your being understanding of the system and just having all the skills necessary to be that leader. We have had, I'm trying to remember, we have had, I believe, 7 Spots cadets in this squadron, a few before I got there. At one point, we had 2 at the same time, which was a rarity. Rare that you have any Spots cadets, but to have 2 at the same time was amazing. So yeah, it is extremely gratifying to reach that, and it also opens up a lot of other things as far as scholarships and other things that are available to that particular cadet. I may also say that the Air Force Academy, double digits of the cadets that enter the academy are CAP. And the Air Force believes that we do such a good job with our cadets that if you just wanted to enlist, if you've achieved lieutenant, you can go in as an E3. You've got 2 promotions just by being CAP.
Mm-hmm.
So
an E3 in the U.S. Air Force, and an E2 in any other branch.
I think the Marines are a little picky. They only give us E2.
They're the Marines, yeah. Okay, let's see. I think I've gone through. I think we've gone through the questions that I want to ask. So I'm going to start opening up to the chat. Legatus Legionnaire with our first question. Let's see. Oh, well, Agent Pepsi 1 wants to first say that please thank the guests from her. My hat is off to both the lieutenant colonel and the major. She had absolutely no idea CAP did so much. She always thought that the Air Force did those missions. As you can see, the CAP does a lot, and it saves the taxpayer a lot of money because a Black Hawk costs a lot to do a search and rescue, whereas it takes since they're doing volunteer.
On that note, it is about a $3.75 return on every dollar invested by the government, partly because we are volunteers.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Looking. And hello, Ballistic. Welcome to the chat. Let's see. Sandra Feliciano says cadets are essential to ground team effectiveness. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I know I saw another one from Legatus Legionnaire. Okay.
Yeah, our cadets make up the bulk of our ground teams. Obviously, there's more of a ratio of cadets to senior members, and cadets are just, I guess, more active in that particular area, but definitely.
All right. Legatus Legionnaire says, does it use a move up or move out structure? In other words, if you don't promote at a certain amount of time, you have to leave the program?
No.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
What we try to do with our cadets, again, in their leadership, they try to work and assist those who are having trouble, particularly with passing some of the tests. And one nice thing, most of the tests are online, so it's very easy to get them. So if someone is struggling, they usually can get help if they want it. Now, we have had some cadets that didn't really try to get any help with it and finally gave up. But we try to keep on that and try to get them assistance so that they can get all the way through.
Okay. Snorter Poopus Cuber says, I think the most exciting thing I got to do as a cadet was helping guard some of the aircraft at an air show many years ago. Unfortunately, I couldn't take one home with me. Snorty.
Yeah, air shows are so much fun. We have Blue Berets, which is the largest air show in the world, and cadets get to participate and help with that. So it's a really awesome experience.
Have you done that yet?
Nope. I don't know if I will, but it's definitely on my bucket list if I could ever do it.
Okay. All right.
Actually, guarding aircraft, particularly crashed aircraft, is a common mission for CAP. It's above and beyond the search and rescue. If we know where the aircraft is down, and if there is going to be an investigation by the National Transportation Board, they will want the site protected until they get that done. So we've been involved in a few of those, guard the crash site.
Okay. All right. Legatus Legionnaire asks, after getting the cadet officer ranking of cadet colonel, if you move into becoming a senior member, do you start at the bottom ranking, either a flight officer or a staff sergeant, or what do you go in if you want to go into a senior member rank, into the senior member ranks? What could you start out as a cadet colonel?
I know that we don't have we do have NCO ranks within the senior member areas, but it's not like part of the direct chain. Like when you're promoting, you start off with the officer ranks within the senior member program as second lieutenant, and then you move upwards from there. If you wanted to achieve an NCO rank, that would be like you having been an NCO within, or like I don't think there's ever been a seaman or an airman. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Join senior member side, but if you are in one of the branches and you wanted to join as an NCO, you can. But I'm not sure about what rank. Sure.
When you turn 18, you have the opportunity to become a flight sergeant with the senior after 18, if you choose to. But I do have to plead a little ignorance too, because it's changed a little bit since I came in.
Okay.
But you could transfer if you wish over to the senior. Yeah.
Okay.
But,
Sandra says cadet captains get to skip the initial rank and get first lieutenant. If a cadet lieutenant colonel becomes a senior after getting her next promotion, so what? Okay, so if you get colonel and go into the senior member ranks, you'd be able to get captain as a senior member.
And on the senior side, they will give you credit for rank if you came in from military.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be starting out at the very bottom, but quite a bit of the information that and the testing and the learning that you do, you still should do it, even if you get a captain rank right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Agent Pepsi 1 says, I so understand. I'm afraid of heights and absolute dread of having to ride in helicopters. Although had a ride in the front seat of a AH-64 Apache once. Can be scary, at least for me.
Yeah, flying it's fun for a designated amount of time before it just doesn't work out for me.
Okay.
The Black Hawk flights are very interesting, particularly when they bank with the door open. And the only thing between you and the Cheat River is the seatbelt.
They'll splash you sometimes too.
Okay. Let's see. Agent Pepsi 1 says, sounds like Jay Rotzi. I think they need more discipline. And Sandra responds, CAP cadets are much more disciplined and responsible. If a cadet is also in Jay Rotzi, they can test more often and promote faster. All right. Snorter Poopus says, I was in CAP only 2 years and joined late. Never made it past cadet chief or cadet master sergeant, but our squadron was small and I was a cadet flight leader when I left. So Snort was in CAP. Yeah. Let's see. Looking for more questions. Hello, Dalek 451. Welcome. We're lurking. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Looking for questions. Whoa. Lieutenant Colonel Ballistic says Lieutenant Colonel Black is a great CAP leader. I could tell that from hearing her tonight. You are.
Thank you.
Let's see.
I'd take all the praise I can. So.
As you should. And let me ask you then, what are your goals within the CAP program? Obviously, it's probably getting to spots, but other than that, what are your goals in the program, and what do you want to do in the future?
So currently spots is literally what's all on my mind. That is my ultimate goal within the CAP program. Once I reach that rank, my next steps are to apply to any of the military academies and attempt to get in, which my dream school would be West Point Military Academy in upstate New York. It is from the Army branch. And from there, hopefully, I can start studying and preparing to be a JAG, a Judge Advocate General, or a military lawyer.
Wow. That is very
It's a lot.
that's very ambitious. That's very ambitious.
I mean, I'm excited, but I also know that it's going to come with a lot of hard work.
Yeah. Wow. So you've got your goals set for yourself. But yeah. Let's see. Search with an AH-64 would be even more expensive. I understand that aircraft is 40 to 50% more expensive to operate per flight hour than a Black Hawk, especially if she does. She was in the Army. She was Agent Pepsi 1 did avionics on Apaches. There's a little bit of background. And Agent Pepsi 1 agrees with Ballistic. You are very well spoken. Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Modest. Yeah, you gotta be modest. I like your modesty. All right. Let's see. Agent Pepsi 1 says, Major Stansberry, yes, the takeoffs were the worst part of me, as they twist on the way up typically. She was assigned an armored cavalry regiment. Let's see. Snortapoopas says, I got to fly in an old Huey Slick when I was in college, ROTC. The door was open and we were sitting in the seats looking out the side while we orbited. Oh, yeah. I did that a long time ago. So, yeah. Okay, guys, keep on with the questions. Let's see. End of statements. These two are loving it. Okay. Major Stansberry, have you thought about going into the aircrew side of the house, or like for search and rescue?
Or
have you thought about being on the aircrew side for emergency services?
I have, and for it may be in the future, but the conditions right now don't make it possible for me to be that available.
Okay, gotcha. And that's a part of the issue is the time available to help out in the program. Is that correct? Time can be a constraint sometimes.
It is, and it is even tough for cadets, particularly if they are an active cadet, active in other things like band, track, choir, whatever, church activities. So it makes it difficult, and we like to see them on every meeting night, but it's not imperative as long as they keep working towards their goals, particularly if they have these other activities they need to get to. So on the senior side, it's got the same problems just about all volunteer organizations have. You get a certain group that are very active. It's a little tougher in CAP because in some of the positions, not my position so much, but on some of them, there's actually a lot of stress. Particularly in those who are actively seeking a downed aircraft. And it is stressful kind of work in that. So it's even more of an issue than you say being in Rotary Club or something.
Good point. Agent Pepsi One asks, I may be wrong, but aren't all graduates from West Point actually engineers?
Mhm. So I know that you are required to take, I think, a 2-year course in engineering, but it's not required overall. If it actually is though, then that would redirect my plan. But I don't mind going through an ROTC program at a good college.
Okay. Definitely, she's definitely got her goals set.
That's interesting.
I'm not sure. I thought they were. I know they got bachelors of science. I mean, all of them get bachelors of science.
I know they all. There's a large focus on engineering as well, and just STEM in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like, the Army in particular does have to deal quite a bit with defenses and obviously traversing ground. So engineers are, well, the whole Army Corps is not
Right.
only important to the military side, but also keeping our shipping and our harbors functioning.
Right. Snorter Poopa says, I can date myself. As cadets, we were transitioning from the Air Force khaki to the two-tone blue uniforms when I was in. They were all hand-me-down, and it was hard to find one that fits. I imagine it's pretty. It hasn't changed about finding uniforms that fit, has it, for cadets?
Yeah, but
Well, the
Big
standard
Brother
is
Air Force has been very, very forgiving.
Mm-hmm. What were we going to say, Colonel Black?
Oh, well, yeah, we definitely have fitting uniforms now for the most part. Not if you're looking for shoes though. We don't have really any well-fitting shoes.
Okay. Let's see. She thought about engineering herself. Calculus kicked her butt up one side and down the other.
There's only so much math.
Calculus is what they use to thin people out. Because I have not used calculus since I left West Virginia University.
Yeah, I haven't.
Really, it's for those who are doing research and trying to develop something. Yeah, calculus comes into play, but out here in the real world, we pretty much have beat that stuff down to the standard equations.
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember in calculus, I dreamed at night that there were differential equations coming to get me. I couldn't kill it.
Okay. Snort says military academy graduates don't have to be engineers now. And we got Pudgy Hedgehog, which I know the question's coming up. King Dolphin TV, where the F stands for fun in the Air Force. Pudgy hugs. Hello, Pudgy. Okay. Let's see. On the topic of ballistics, on the topic of emergency services, I was a volunteer cadet fighter at my local station, and I went on my first call last week. We geared up and raced to a house in the engine at over 90 miles per hour. Wow. By the time we got there, the small fire was already taken care of, but it was still very cool to see how it went down. I'd like to be a military Air Force firefighter as my career. Cool. Let's see. Sandra says the academy. Oh, see, people in my chat, they're already on top of things before I start thinking about it. Sandra says the academy website shows a lot of different majors, not just engineering. All right. Let's see. And see a local recruiter to try and do it. Pudgy Hedgehog says calculus is a 4-letter word. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Snort says, I had enough trouble getting through algebra and trigonometry. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Especially the college algebra is so different than high school algebra. It's like, and even different levels of algebra within college. It is bizarre. I went through, when I was at Cleveland State, I got through algebra, some calculus to statistics and all that. I had to take an algebra class for Embry-Riddle. That was the only class I needed. That was the only one I needed to graduate. I couldn't decipher the book at all. And it said college algebra. I said, what? So fortunately, I was able to negotiate that if I showed them my college Cleveland State syllabus, they would take it and give me that last class. So I was able to graduate. That was bad. I thought algebra was one thing. Then you went into calculus and all the other stuff. Yeah. Agent Pepsi One says, Major, in my family, you were either engineer, medical professional, or military. It was political science and foreign languages for me. Yeah. All right. Here's the question. The question I warned you to about. Pudgy Hedgehog asks, what is Nice Lady and Mr. Guest's favorite type of cookies?
So the one in my hand.
Oh. So no particular.
Pecan lassies that my mother made.
Oh, okay.
It has to be either the double stuffed chocolate Oreos.
Oh.
Or some people absolutely hate them because they're so plain, windmill cookies. If you ever look them up, they have a cool design. That's about it.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right.
I don't like the cookies that pop up on my computer at all.
Who does? Firefights. That's the most dangerous profession. Oh, firefighters. Some of the most dangerous professions out there.
For sure.
Sandra says, I thought algebra and trig were easy, but calculus was hard.
Analytical geometry was really what scared me.
Oh, God. I hated geometry.
That's why I never went into structural design.
You guys are really scaring me about it right now.
Yeah.
I'm like dreading it.
2 + 2 is. Let me get back to you on that. I told you the chat's on fire. Why does Russian sound confusing? The Marines found a Russian math book, gave it to the Army to translate, and the Coast Guard shipped it. Okay, let's see. My students look at me funny when I served with the 11th Black Horse Cavalry. Yes, that same unit. The chieftain, U2 Army guy was as well at the same time. Seen him once in Afghanistan. Oh, okay. Oh, and thank you for your service, Agent Pepsi One. Oh, Pudgy likes windmill cookies. Yay!
Thank you. I love them too. I'm weird, I know, but like they're still good.
Pudgy. Oh, Pudgy. Okay. Yeah, geometry is awful. Snort. I always thought geometry was about botany. Oh.
No. Geology.
Yeah, geology. Oh, God. Oh, man.
How you measure the earth. Geometry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. And, of course, Chips Ahoy. Okay.
It's a classic. I mean.
Yeah. Yes.
But like, do you like chewy or do you like the harder type cookies? That's the
Does
question.
anybody like homemade cookies anymore? Okay.
I do. Especially when we have a cooking with Sandra segment. Oh, she made for a church function this weekend some sort. Sandra, put it out this so I don't screw up the name. The cookie.
The one I just made?
Yeah, the one you just made.
It's just a Mexican chewy cookie.
Oh, she says it's a Mexican chewy cookie. And it was chocolate, and oh my God, it was awesome. So I get my share of homemade cookies here at the pod. Yes. Oh boy. Oh, and she likes the harder types.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Guys, ask away. We got these two wonderful people here. Ask questions about Civil Air Patrol. Snort's already putting his dibs in. Send me cookies. Somebody sent me cookies once. Nom nom. All right. Let's see. Okay.
That's the Colonel. If you want to move over, you want to pursue the legal profession elsewhere?
Like, what do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean by that, sir?
Well, actually, my niece was a Navy JAG. And she was attempted to be prosecutor in Richmond, Virginia, but she's out of practice now. But yeah, she was JAG.
I have to hit her up sometime and get some advice.
It's not like the old TV show, I imagine.
Oh, or like what's that one movie? A Few Good Men, I think.
Yeah. I know someone. It was funny. I know someone. She actually worked in back in NIS, and she said it's nothing like the TV show.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Is anything like the TV show?
True.
Well, our one of our last spots, Cadet Hill, went into law. I believe I'm trying to remember where he went to school. He may have gone to. I have to look into that. I can't remember. But David Hill's an attorney.
Let's see. Pudgy says, "How do you know your date with the fighter pilot is halfway over?" He says, "Enough about me. How about I talk about the plane?" Oh dear. Agent Pepsi 1 says, "I know if you're an attorney, you enter as an O3 like a medical doctor and receive fair bonuses."
Makes a lot of money.
Once you're out of the service and go into private practice. Snort confesses to loving the old TV show JAG, as unrealistic as it was. I always called it JAG Special Forces. Good point. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we're at a good spot here. I don't know if there's any more questions or comments. So I'm going to ask each of you, what would you tell a person who, we'll start with the major. What would you tell a person who is thinking about CAP? What would you tell them about, in one short answer, someone who's thinking about getting into CAP? What would you tell them?
I would tell them that it is a good opportunity. You're going to meet a lot of good people, and it is a commitment to your community, and it helps It is rewarding as heck.
Okay. Now the same question to Cadet Black.
For younger cadets, I would say you get to shoot stuff, flying airplanes, and have cool experiences. Because I don't think the majority of them are interested in the resume type stuff yet. So I just you get the opportunity to do a bunch of cool crap all the time. For the older cadets, I would most likely tell them that you have a lot of opportunities for your future career, as well as opportunities you have in CAP, which would look good on your resume. So you also have to know your audience as well, because the younger cadets, like a 12-year-old's really not thinking about their resume unless they're very mature for their age.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm trying to get the link back up here. Going back up. Let's see. Come on, where is it? Sandra, could you put the link up there one more time? I really don't want to scroll all the way back up. Oh, there it is. There's the link. www.gocivilairpatrol.com. In fact, I'm going to show it just for the sake of showing what it looks like. Let's see here, because I can do that. Okay, there is the Civil Air Patrol website, and there it is, and it's got all sorts of good information. You can find units, you can get good news. Good news. Gives lots of good information on all the various programs, and you can. It also has access to the national website. So if you're interested in finding a unit, knowing more about Civil Air Patrol, go to www.gocivilairpatrol.com. Okay. Let's see.
Raymond?
Yes, sir.
Special shout out to teachers and educators. There is a program called AEMs, Aerospace Members. And this is a program offered to educators, and it provides access to a lot of STEM, a lot of educational materials, K through 12.
Agent Pepsi 1, are you listening? She's
yeah, it is quite a bit of materials available, and you're eligible to get an orientation ride on the nearest CAP aircraft. So, and once a year you can get that flight. So it's very good access, and like I said, K through 12. There's a lot of good history information as well as AE information. It goes through some of the history relative to even Amelia Earhart, the Wright brothers, the Tuskegee Airmen, all the different pioneers of flight, and it even some nice little stories about Uncle Wiggly Wings, which is a story of the pilot that started throwing candy to the people in East Berlin. So there's quite a few things they're available at that lower level as well as all the way through. And you can get STEM kits that would be for astronomy. Telescopes are accessible. There are robotics, you name it. All that stuff is there. Your tax dollars at work, so to speak.
Yeah. And AEMs only have to pay membership fees the first year, unless they've changed the rules.
Right.
Agent Pepsi 1, are you listening? She's a German and history teacher, so I still think she would qualify. She's a
Oh, yeah,
teacher.
yeah. And as I said, there's a lot of history stuff that's available through this.
Yes.
And
So check it out, Agent Pepsi One. Let's see. Okay, so one last time, go civilairpatrol.com. And I think at this point we're going to do show notes, and I'll give you guys. You guys will see. I think you guys will see somebody you know. You'll have to tell me after you see show notes. Give me a second here. I gotta do something real quick. Okay. Okay, come on. Darn it. I hate it when my mouse decides to go bananas. Okay, here we go. All right.
It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes. Yeah, with Mr. Reagan and Sandra too. It's time for show notes. We're bringing it on. It's time for show notes. You've all been warned. It's time for show notes.
Did you see that? Did you see him?
I saw Lieutenant Colonel Macias, sir.
Yes, you did. Yep, she was on there. So, Snortapoopa says, take care, every human, dolphin, doggo, Dalek, ferret, eagle, hedgehog, and Narco Medusa. TM, a wholly owned subsidiary of the DolphinWars.com. And here's a Narco Medusa. That's an odd looking critter.
Kind of looks like a jellyfish.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah.
Medusas are.
Yeah. Let's see. What does let the trusty Wikipedia say? Let's see. It is a hydrozoan. So whatever. Well, I am kind of rusty on my biology stuff. So if someone wants to come up with that, you can. But there is the Narcomedusa. Okay, we are at show notes. And bear with me, my mouse battery just went out, so I got to do touch screen. Let's see. Show notes. All right, so next week we're going to have Alex Taylor talk to us about his book, The Black Widows. He is an author, and he wrote a military fiction book called The Black Widows, and he will be on here next Wednesday. On the 4th of June, we will be doing Fantastic Four reviews, another installment of the Fantastic Four. On the 11th, we have a jewelry creator Jennifer McEnroe. She will be in talking about her jewelry. On the 18th, we have KR Companion coming back to talk to us about Knight Rider. And on June 25th, we will have the Not Ready for Pod Time players doing another installment of All's Fair, a Dolphin Wars novel on radio, King Dolphin TV. Every Saturday, right now, it's still every Saturday, we will be doing Just 'Cause, the show that has chaos everywhere and chaos and fun everywhere. On the 7th of June, we will be doing our themed show. And I really don't want it will be a Corn Hub theme show episode. And I'm afraid to know what that's going to be all about. So that is everything that's coming up. Legatus Legion, I would like to thank everybody thank both of you to come on and enlighten everybody. Sandra says, make sure you do a pod raid at Pop Culture Breakdown. And Snorta Poopa says they are related to jellyfish and corals, if it helps. So, yeah. All right. So that is show notes. And I'd like to thank Major Stansberry for coming on. He's taking some time off to tell us about this wonderful organization, Civil Air Patrol. And also Cadet Colonel Emma Black for also talking to us about it. And I'm not going to jinx it, but when you get your spots, I'd like to bring you back on to tell us about your journey, if you'd like that. All right.
If I get my spots, yeah.
You're gonna get it. Yes. Chat.
That's the goal.
Chat. Show her. Put a EB out there to show that we support her on her journey, because we do that. We do that for everybody who has a journey and needs help. And well, that gets support from our wonderful pod. Snorta Poopa says it was entertaining and educational, and I highly agree. It was fantastic. I'd like to thank everybody who joined in on the chat here. We had Ballistic. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe. Ballistic, again, it was a pleasure seeing you and hearing your remarks. We've got Pudgy Hedgehog and his favorite cookie question. We had Swift -1. So, and Sandra says the spots has 4 tests: leadership, aerospace ed, covering their entire. So it's comprehensive, covering. Oh, no pressure, Sandra. 4 tests: leadership and aerospace ed, covering the entire time in CAP, PT to academy standards, and an essay using correct grammar and spelling. Well, hey, that's easy. That's easy. You got this. You got this.
Keyword.
You got this.
Thank you. I appreciate the support.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. See? You got support out here. All right.
Just have to study, I promise.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for getting the time to study. So, all right. Now the lifeguards. We had our producer, Sandra. This is King Dolphin TV in color. Stereo were available. Sandra Feliciano production. As you can hear the jingling in the back, Trike is present the official dog of King Dolphin TV. We had Agent Pepsi 1. We had Dalek 451. Thank you for being here, Dalek. We had FKHC 2005. We had Legatus Legion Eye. And last, but certainly not least, because he will beat me up, he will give me a bear hug, we got Snorter Poopas! Q bar. Dot scream. Hashtag roar. Great show. You two are the bomb. Come back again. Yep, we can't do a King Dolphin TV without him making Snorter Poopas making an appearance once in a while. All right. Well, again, thank you very much. This was a fantastic interview. Anytime we get people doing interesting things, and Civil Air Patrol is a great organization, and you two are great representatives of CAP. So thank you very much. And,
Thank you, Kurt.
and thank you to the chat. And thank you for the chat. And you got make sure you do a pod raid at Pop Culture Breakdown. And we will see you on Saturday for Just Cuz. Take care, all. Night.
Night.
Are we good? Not yet. Oh, that was me. Oh. And I lost them.